What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Elden Ring Nightraigne video. In today's video, guys, I'm going to be breaking down on how to get overpowered in each and every one. That way you can utilize and pretty much plan your way of attack more effectively, and that way you will have a much easier time knowing where to go, what you want to look out for, and that way you are ready to face the Night Lord. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first things first, I would highly recommend, especially new players or even players brand new to Souls games, if you're picking up Elden Ring Nightraigne, before you start an expedition, you want to go to your visual codex. Now from the round table hold, you'll go to the room on to the right, and there will be this desk with a large book on it, and it'll say Open Visual Codex. Now, the first thing we want to go to is going over the key locations and what their significance is and how you want to prioritize them. So if you go down to guide, scroll all the way down to map key locations, this will show you all of the different icons that pop up on the map and what you get out of them. Now first things first, we have the fort. The fort usually has a hidden map at the top of it, which will reveal hidden loot items such as beetles, which give you talismans, or hidden treasure chests to give you high rarity loot. Then you have great churches, which are pretty awesome because great churches usually have a pretty easy boss either on the top floor or the bottom floor, and you can get a quick dormant power out of them. And they also have great seals, so if you're running Revenant or Recluse and you need a faith seal or incantations, you can find them here. Now for the main encampments, these usually have different types of elements such as fire, lightning, holy, poison, or anything of the sort. Now depending on what that encampment is, once you defeat the group of enemies, then that's the type of weapon that will drop from the dormant powers. Then moving on, we have tunnel entrances. So these are your mines. Mines will always have a mini boss in them that will drop you a purple smithing stone to get your weapon up to purple rarity. Then you have the castle. The castle, I would say, is probably one of the last things that would want to tackle probably on day 2 once you're high enough level. And usually this has a guaranteed talisman slot depending on which route you go, and there's usually a bunch of different mini bosses in there. Then you got field bosses, and then another good thing is Everjails. Everjails always have a rune bonus once you complete them, which is a really good thing. So once you have the stone sword keys, open up those Everjails and get your rune bonus. That way you can have the maximum amount of runes down in so you can level up as high as you can. Then the last ones are townships, which always houses a merchant that sells high tier loot, such as higher tier rarity items or weapon equipments, stuff like that. Then you have the churches. The churches are going to be the priority of your run. These will give you more flask charges, so that way you can be better prepared when fighting the Night Lord. Then you have Sorcerer's Rise, which is kind of situational. If you're using Recluse, if you can pop the hidden sigil, then you can enter the Rise, and it usually gives you a pretty cool staff or really good talisman pertaining to like an intelligence build such as Recluse. Now the next thing that you want to keep in mind is your relic rights. So if you do a few runs, or if you already done a couple runs, even if you fail, you do get some relics at random once you complete a run, or like I said, if you fail a run, sometimes you'll get a couple. And these are basically passive abilities that you can equip onto your character. Now, I would highly recommend to attune your relic rights to the weakness of the boss that you're going to go against. So for instance, we have Tricephalos. This is the first boss that everybody has to fight before unlocking all of the different Night Lords, and he is weak to Holy. So you want to go through your relics, and then you have, like this one here, gives me +2 to strength and Holy attack power up. So if I have a Holy attack weapon, then my damage is increased to further be effective or have a more higher damage output against the Tricephalos. And then you have poison, fire, lightning, frenzy, lightning, and then fire again. So just pay attention to the weakness of the Night Lord, and you want to make that a priority as well during your runs. So like I said before, the ruins or the main encampments, depending on the weakness of the boss, go for that element in those encampments. That way you can get a weapon pertaining to that weakness. So first things first that you want to do when dropping down, you want to immediately pull up your map and then hit Y. This will pull up different details of the different locations, and especially it'll also show you all of the different items that you can get from each of those locations as well. So if you need a bow for Iron Eye, then you know which way to go. As soon as you land, you always will have a small encampment, and you want to take out these fodder enemies pretty quickly, so that way you can get a quick level, and there's usually always a close sight of grace. That way you can get a quick level right off the jump. Now, everybody's run is going to be completely different, especially where you land and where these locations spawn. So for instance, in my case here, I had a church directly south as soon as I dropped in, so I want to go there first, especially because it's on the outer edge, and it will also give me an extra charge for my flask. Now once I'm done here, I immediately pull up my map, and the next close location I have is the fort. Now the fort, like I explained earlier in the video, is a great location because this will always have a hidden map at the very top, and this will reveal all of the close locations of hidden chests or the beetles that will drop talismans, and this will be great to further enhance your build for you and your teammates. And if you come across these chests like I have right in front of me, the giant chest, then you usually have a high chance of dropping a stone sword key. So in this instance, I was able to get a stone sword key as it's prompt in the bottom right hand corner. And these will always open up the Everjails. So these are what is going to enhance your rune farming when you do each of your runs. Every time you complete an Everjail, you will get a rune bonus between two options, but you usually will always want to go with the rune bonus, so that way you can level up a lot quicker. So for this instance, I got a Crucible Knight, and because it's day 1, his health is halved. Now, if you do it on day 2, sometimes it's 3/4 of the way full, or sometimes full all the way. And this will usually grant you a higher rune bonus depending on the rarity of the reward. If it's a blue rarity, you'll have a 10,000 rune bonus. If you have a purple rarity, it's 20,000. In some rare cases, if it's a legendary quality, you'll get 30,000 runes. Now that the first circle has closed in, I immediately pull up my map, and now I want to try and head for the mine. This will greatly enhance my weapon. This will give me a purple smithing stone to enhance the rarity of my weapon. So you can see right here, I tag it right here on my map, and I'm going to head straight for that location. And this location will always have a mini boss, whether if it's a golem, a knight, or even a pumpkin head, they will always drop a purple smithing stone. Now, once I'm out of the mine, the second circle was closing in, and this will close in to the final circle. And if you don't know where the circle will end up, all you gotta do is pull up your map, and it'll show the Erd tree, or you can see the big giant tree that's in the middle of the map up in the sky, and that was where is the final circle. Now, the best thing to do on your way to the final circle, especially if you are quite far or if you're on the outer edges of the circle, you want to have you and your team try and clear out as many fodder enemies as possible. Every rune counts in Elden Ring Nightrign, and this is the name of the game. You want to try and level up as fast as you can, and every rune counts. So on your way to the final circle, if you find a group of, the nobles or any smaller enemies that you can take out very quickly and move, especially if you have gold pickle foulfoots, which are really good items to have, so that way you can gain more runes. So after you clear the Night 1 boss, you can get a couple more levels. Now, another useful tip to maximize your time is to just go ahead and go outside of the circle. Even after you clear out the Night 1 boss, as soon as you get your next location, go ahead and run outside. Yes, you'll take a little bit of damage, but it's okay, because you'll have a Sight of Grace usually on the way there, or you can always pop a Sight of Grace onto your next location, and you'll instantly get all of your health back. So that way you could end up starting another encounter even before the next day starts. Now, once you're in day 2, you basically want to rinse and repeat the methods that I have just explained to you. go for other Everjails. If anybody has more stone sword keys, get those rune bonuses. And if you and your team are high enough level, usually you want to try and aim to be around 10 or 11. If it's really good, maybe 12 by the end of day 2. If it's really, really good, then you might be able to get 15, which is the max level that you can get. But you want to also try and clear out the field bosses. If you have a feel for the damage that you're dealing to the field boss, that way it could make quick and easy work. Then you want to try and pop your gold pickle foulfoots while you're fighting the boss, or just before you kill him. That way you have that rune bonus. And if you're able to take down the field bosses, usually these will net you a huge bonus in power, whether if it's a passive ability or some really good high tier loot. And don't forget about those churches. Any churches that you have not hit on day 1, you want to also make sure that those are within your path of progression in day 2, so that way you can get the maximum number of sacred flask charges. And don't forget about that smithing stone that you have in your inventory. You want to visit a merchant. Usually these guys chill out on the outside of encampments or any of the forts, and they will usually have a smithing table there, and use that purple smithing stone that we obtained earlier to upgrade your most powerful weapon or your favorite weapon. Or I would highly recommend upgrade the weapon that will deal the most damage to the Night Lord boss, so that way once you face the Night Lord, you'll have a much higher tier weapon that will do the most damage to the boss. And the last thing to note is the shifting events, which is all random depending on which event that you have. You have either the crater, the snowy mountaintop, or the capital city, or any other event. Those will all be random for each and every run. I'll do a separate video on that, on how to master each of those shifting events, so that way you can quickly speed run through those and get the high tier loot at the end, so that way you can maximize your time through those. But other than that, that is pretty much wrapped up this how to get OP guide in Elden Ring Nightreigne. I hope you guys found this video informative. If you did, make sure to drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel. We have tons of Elden Ring Nightreigne content coming your way. We will be live streaming this heavily on the channel, whether if I'm playing solo or with randos or with my co-partner Dave, or if you guys want to join in on a PC run, because we are playing on PC and there's no crossplay, then make sure to join our Discord. That link is in the description below, so make sure to check that out. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Deuces.